Welcome to the Open Books Podcast, where we discuss all things going on in the real estate industry, helping you take the road less traveled to real estate success, guiding you to the top 10%. I am here with my co-host, Brooke Massey, and myself, Curtis Haddock. Good morning. Good to be here.
Good morning. No Casey
no
today.
Casey. Yeah, he's not feeling good.
Casey.
Poor no Casey. Poor guy. I mean, man, he did sound pretty sick.
He did.
So he's not trying to get out of it.
I mean, he still showed up, though, and helped us set up because...
he's our tech guy.
Yeah, he's our tech guy.
He's our sound guy, you know?
We just show up and just talk.
That's it. Well,
about random stuff and boss Casey around.
And because he's sick and not here today, I just have this feeling that this will be the best episode in the history of podcast episodes. Not just for us.
For all of them.
For all podcast kind.
This is how we're going to get to the top.
Yep. We need your help. So, how are you doing? What are we talking about today? What do you want to talk about today? Do you know what we're talking about today?
That was a lot of questions. So which one would you like me to answer?
How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fabulous.
How is business?
It's going great.
Good. Okay, what are we talking about today?
Well, how are you today, though?
I'm tired. Didn't sleep great last night. I feel like I'm tired all the time though, so that's nothing new. But my poor son has been sick, and he woke himself up. Like we had a throw up bowl next to his bed last night, and he just started yelling for us, and we didn't know what it was. He was just like, "Mom, Dad, I'm sorry. Like I couldn't quite make it to the bowl."
Oh, heartbreak.
And we walk in, there's just throw up like on the bed and like going down like into the cracks and like under the bed, and
it's like
just
the worst kind of cleanup.
Yes. Now, luckily, like he's been sick and I shouldn't say luckily, but like he hasn't been eating a bunch.
Yeah.
He just hasn't had the appetite, so it wasn't like terrible.
That's
it could have been way worse, but yeah, we still had to clean it up, and we were up for a minute trying to do that.
It's still goopy.
So I'm tired. But
you're still here.
Yeah, as long as I don't turn into what Casey was this morning, I should be fine.
I know. I'm just eating. We had our little chili cook-off yesterday, and then I was like, man, that was a lot of people to be around, and everyone touched everything. I ate like 4 vitamin C chewables as soon as I got home.
I won't say any names, but we did have an agent that just showed up and then they left, and I was like, "You're not going to eat anything?" He goes, I don't eat potlucks, because of that reason, because of germs, and he thinks it's gross. And so, I mean, to each his own, I guess, you know.
Protect yourself.
But for me, food is food, and I'm like, surely no one's germs are getting there.
I've just always been around so many germs in general that I don't know. It's like a good thing. I think my immune system's really built up.
Have you ever seen that movie? And then we'll get into the topic, I promise you guys. Have you ever seen that movie where they show like Patient Zero? I forget what it's called, where it spreads like you see like how disease is spread, like based on what people are touching, and like how
World
other
War
people
Z?
come by. No, not that one. Maybe that one. I remember that one. That was kind of cool.
And they kind of showed that like at the beginning, because it like how it started from like, I forget, was it a pig or a bat or something?
Kind of like that. I thought I remember, but there was also a movie with Kate Winslet in it. I think it's that's the movie I'm thinking of. Do you know what I'm talking about? Camera Girl. Do you know what I'm talking about? What movie?
Look it up
Miss
for
Lauren.
us.
The Kate Winslet, like it's like Patient Zero, like where it shows like it talks about like the spreading of like almost like it was like COVID before COVID, like that. What? Contagion. Yeah, that one.
Yes.
Yes, that's the one. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
And so it's so interesting, like, because they like I think it was this movie where they changed the color of like the virus, like just based on like it's like on your hand, and then like you touch a doorknob, and then someone comes and opens the door, and now it's on their hand, and then you see them like scratch their head, and it flakes. Like it's just weird to see how fast it can spread to just everybody.
Did you ever do those, like, we always had, I don't even know, like the health department or something came into the schools, and they would like teach us how to properly wash our hands and stuff, and they would come in with black lights and like
No, I never did that.
It was really interesting. And then they like showed like how clean like a toilet is. compared to how dirty a shopping cart is.
And that's wild.
And it's like the shopping cart's like way worse.
Yeah,
way
I've heard things like that. And you'd be surprised at the things that are super dirty. It's the things that are being touched by everybody.
Yeah.
You know? Oof, yeah.
Well, like, I mean, just working in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Like even during COVID times, you'd be surprised the people that came in.
Yeah.
Like I remember one customer came up to me and my good friend, my boss at the time, and we were trying to help her and stuff, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I just got diagnosed with COVID," and da da da, and she's like in the store
openly talking about it.
Yeah, and she didn't have a mask on, and this was like the very beginning when nobody like really knew anything.
Yeah.
And so like
So
we were like,
we're gonna die.
yeah, we were like, and every time somebody did that, like we had to shut down the store completely.
Oh wow.
Every time like a positive case or something, and so we were
man.
like, oh my gosh. And she was like handing us stuff, and then people would come in with like their kids, and they would just have like produce and just be openly eating it out of the shopping cart.
Yeah, that's
which
crazy.
I get, like, you know, entertain your kid, you gotta do what you gotta
Yeah,
do sometimes, but you know, gross.
Not during that time, because
Also,
if you got to
that's
shut down the
stealing.
store. Well, surely they would pay for it, right?
Well,
My
not if
mom-
you get grapes. It goes
the
by weights. Yeah.
So my mom used to do that, but not with that kind of stuff. Like like at the bakery, like she would like let us get a cookie or something
Yeah.
and eat it. But then she would make sure she told the cashier, also we ate 3 cookies. One time though, and this was like my first like real lesson on like stealing and like, you know, being honest about like the, you know, when you mess up. And I remember we ate some cookies, and it was oblivious to me. Like I didn't think about it. Like I just figured, you know, we were going to tell him at the front, and then we were in the parking lot walking to our car. My mom was like, "Oh, I forgot to tell him that we had those cookies." And like, well, they didn't catch us, so you know we're out of here. And so my mom was like, "No, we got to go back in and we got to go tell them. We got to pay for it." And so my mom loaded up the car. She went all the way back into the store, told them about the cookies, paid for them, and like that was like my first like that I remember lesson on like, you know, not to steal.
Maybe because you always went and got cookies, and
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
always assumed.
Yeah. So like that was how she got us to, you know, not complain about going to the grocery store.
Oh man.
So what are we talking about today?
White noise.
White noise. You would think we were talking about germs, but not
Well,
today.
I mean, it could be. I mean, really anything could be white noise. White noise is like any kind of distraction, or I always talk about perception, just anything that would create an excuse or kind of go against you
Well, and in
to
real
be successful
estate,
anyways.
in real estate, I mean, there is a ton
Oh gosh.
of white noise. I mean, I think that we could probably talk for hours about the distractions in real estate, but especially if you're not prepared for it when you first get your real estate license. For those of you out there that are in the process of getting your license or just passed your test, be prepared for all of the distractions to start happening immediately. People are going to start reaching out to you about, you know, what brokerage to join, what lead service to buy, what marketing campaign you need to invest in to
What
get your
dialer
name
you
out
need,
there.
what-
Yeah.
It's
There's
ridiculous.
so many things. And the most important thing when you're getting started is face-to-face activity. Yeah, just meeting
It's-
people.
Yeah, it's a relationship building industry. So especially if you're coming into this and you want to succeed for a long time, you got to make relationships. And either the relationships you've already made from your current sphere, those people always start out usually stronger a little bit because they've already built those relationships that people trust them. But you still got to go and create more, and that takes time, you know? So
Yeah. Well, and our first kind of topic here is like the market being white noise. And for the most part, whenever the market is like not doing great or it's down, I think creates a lot of more distraction for people. But even when the market is good, it can create a false sense of security for people and to like not have to go out and work as hard. But I think this last year in particular, there was a ton of just distraction and white noise that was surrounding the real estate industry when it comes to the settlement that we went through, and people talking about interest rates and a low total number of sales and just everything being just so like negative and just just one hit after the other in our industry. And I heard so many people, like, their response to all of it was, real estate's never going to be the same.
Yes.
You know,
it's always fear.
Yeah. I'm never going to be able to work with buyers again.
Yep.
And for those of us that kind of stuck with it and adapted to the change, it's actually worked out to be pretty,
well,
not bad. It's actually been better, I feel like, working with buyers in some cases.
Well, that too is like the perception part. Somebody sees it and then they have an emotional response most of the time before reading everything and understanding it. So then they go out there and then they talk about it a lot, and then other people hear it, and then if Curtis, if you were doing it, well, you're my mentor. Well, now I'm going to believe it because now you're saying it, and so it just spreads. It's like germs.
There was a point to the beginning.
There was.
It's like a virus. It just keeps spreading. Negativity can spread like germs.
Yes, but I always pay attention to that stuff. I'm not saying don't pay attention to it, because I always I'm like, ooh, that doesn't sound good either. Yeah. But then I always go in and I want to read it and
you'll have a response, and it's okay to have that initial fear response or that human emotional response, because we're human.
Well, especially when you do what you do for so long, and we already have so much stuff going against us, and it's like when you think you have it figured out, they change it, right? Yeah. And then it's like, it is scary, because now it's like you feel like you have to start over. I mean, there's lots of stuff you can
everything
feel.
That you felt like, this is how my career is going to go. This is what it's going to do for me. These are my goals. And then when something jeopardizes that potential, it's like there's it's that initial fear will start to set in, and for some people, it's crippling. They won't ever get over it, and it will take them out of the game. In fact, I think a majority of people have a hard time overcoming the mental strength it takes when they start to hear the negative things on real estate. And it was interesting, because what I noticed when it comes to the market, people who are considered top producers, we should be listening to those people, right?
Right.
And not just listening to just anyone and everybody about their opinions and what they have to say, because everybody that I saw that actually produced at a high level, they all said, shut up and just keep, you can win in every market. I'm not concerned about any of this. I was able to produce when the crash of '08 happened. I was able to produce, in this market. And it doesn't matter the market. If you know the basics and you focus on those activities, you're going to be fine.
Well, because
just adapt.
Well, also too, if you make a ton of relationships. So I was even talking to Jennifer this morning, and I was like, because sometimes we're doing really good. We have several listings, we have things under contract, but still we feel like a little bit we're turning our wheels. We're working really hard and working every day. We're like, where is everything? But then if we think about it, the market does shift, but we're still thriving because of the relationships we've built. So maybe now we're working with a little bit, we're kind of moving into some commercial, and we have some investors that are doing stuff, but not necessarily Jennifer and I's sphere is buying and selling, buying their personal homes. But when the market starts shifting again, well, those investors and maybe some of the commercial will go away and our sphere will blow up again. So having that good balance really does help.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So just be careful kind of what you listen to. And I just think focus on the basics and stay positive, which can be hard sometimes, but
but especially if you're emotional and you hear the bad stuff, you can totally be like, oh, I'm gonna go do the research. Just make sure you're not feeding your emotions more when you're doing that research.
Don't have a preconceived idea of what you're gonna find.
And I think more so in our society today, because there's more people that can talk more about all kinds of topics. TikTok, you get on there, and
there's more availability to hear them too.
Yes, and it's rightfully so. So I always try to research both sides, because it is interesting.
I mean, honestly, we could take what you're saying and apply that to just life. I mean, politics and everything, because we see so many opinions online. And we feel like, I don't know why we do this, but when somebody formulates an opinion and they say it with such conviction, for some reason, the first thought is, well, they've done their due diligence and they've done the research. And so it must be true what they're saying. And then people just run with it. And, I don't know if it's just, we're just lazy sometimes, or we're too distracted with white noise. We're too busy. And so we don't want to take the time to go and figure it out for ourselves. But man, if we can,
hard, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's time consuming and time is money, and we feel like we don't have enough time in the day, and we don't want to take more time, like adding, tasks to our day. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of different reasons that we just take people's opinion as fact. But if we just step back and just do a little bit of research without any bias and preconceived ideas, then you can figure out what the truth behind statements are.
Absolutely. Because I think too, I think there's a good healthy balance of both. Because sometimes if there's a topic that I don't understand, I don't even know where to start, I do kind of start with people's opinions and kind of learn, but I listen to what they're saying and why they think that the way that they are. And then it helps me go in and then understand, kind of what it's about.
Yeah. And I think in my personal opinion, I think if people are going to, take in other people's opinions, I think the best thing you can do for yourself is find people that have an opinion on both sides of the equation or whatever. Like, why are leads so great? Why are leads so not great? And hear what both people have to say, and then go figure it out for yourself on what's best for you and your business, or whatever the topic is that you are.
Yeah, because everybody has different learning styles and different personality traits with what works for them better than other things.
Yeah.
And I mean, anybody can be successful in real estate. You just got to figure those out. And sometimes it's harder if you don't have certain qualities, I think.
And do you truly believe that? Do you believe that anyone can be successful in real estate?
Well, so it's hard.
I mean, I think anyone, if they wanted it, can be successful in real estate.
Yes, I think some people, it may be harder to find those specific paths.
Sure.
And it may take longer.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And I think that some white noise that people will get is the comparison game.
Yeah.
If I'm comparing myself to the Brooke Massey who built this massive organization very quickly, and I am more of an introverted person who's not, out there, trying to build my team as quickly and things like that, then I might start to think, well, if Brooke did it this fast and I'm not at that same level, then I must not be as good, and it's never going to happen for me. And then that negativity starts to creep in. So I think comparing ourselves to others is another
that's huge
white noise that we need to be aware of. And I go as far as saying, just quit the comparison game. We don't know what helped someone get to where they are, how they started. Did they start with an advantage?
Mm-hmm.
What's their work ethic like? What's their support system? I mean, some people grew up where they're producing, and so they have established a huge network when they started.
Yep.
There are some people that don't have to cold call, they don't have to do open houses. They don't have to do any of that
stuff.
They
just post on social media. I got my license. Yeah. And people call them.
But like, man, I love that person. I'm so glad they got it. I'm actually thinking about listening. Let's have you come over. Like they like them, and they're just so connected.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're a failure if that's not your network.
Right.
But you can go build that network.
Yes.
It's just going to take you more time. So I just think the comparison game is a very dangerous thing to do, and that's probably one of the bigger white noise distractions out there.
Well, that's why I tell everyone, I'm like, don't take every word and everything I say to heart when I'm teaching somebody, because I'm telling you from my experience, but also to other people's experience. But at the end of the day, you're going to go out there and you're going to learn for yourself, and you're going to take what I said, what your broker said, what another agent said, and mold it all together for what works for you and your personality. I always say make yourself feel comfortable, because if you make yourself feel comfortable, then you can be confident out there in real estate. And that's what really shines when you're going out there making relationships with people.
Yeah. I mean, I think that and what you're saying, I could almost argue the opposite, which is why I think that balance is a good word that you use, because yes, you make, do the things that you're comfortable doing, but at the same time, I think growth comes from from discomfort.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So like,
I agree with that.
And so I think that, and the reason why, so you can agree with the other side and both sides. So that tells me that it's important to define what we're talking about. Like, using a word comfort and discomfort, you're applying comfort to a scenario, and then we're applying discomfort to a completely different type of meaning and scenario. So they both are true at the same time.
Yes.
And I think that can also cause a major, distraction or confusion for people if they hear somebody say conflicting ideas and not truly understanding the meaning behind it, No,
I'm glad you bring that up, because what I mean is, like, when you are doing those things that are uncomfortable for growth, like, still do those things, but find a way that makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So, like, example, whenever I first started in real estate and I did for sale by owners, which I still kind of do it today, but for different reasons. But instead of just being so direct with them, I was just terrified to sell myself. Mm-hmm. I was like, you know what? Let me make myself feel comfortable, but still ask this question.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, well, like, I just want to let you know your options. Mm-hmm. And so I felt like I was helping them. Yeah, and it made me feel good. Yeah, but I still asked the question, Yeah,
and the way I phrase that is like, you're fitting it to your personality, to your skill sets and strengths is kind of how I phrase that, because then to be uncomfortable sometimes is to go against what you normally would do and ask for the business, like ask the question that you're afraid to ask, because sometimes you might get surprised by the answer.
Oh, yes.
And sometimes you might get the exact answer you're expecting, and they shut the door in your face.
Or
and say
worse.
No. Right.
Or worse. And you're like, oh, well, I wasn't ready for that one.
But you asked the question.
Absolutely.
And you got the experience, and you got the no, and now you can go and say, well, hopefully it wasn't that bad.
No.
Hopefully it didn't kill your spirit to where you're like, okay, I can go and ask this direct question again and continue to do it in a way that's comfortable for me in this uncomfortable like type of activity. So
yes.
I think it's very important to define the things that you're talking about and what are they being applied to and things like that. In fact, I actually did this today. I saw a post on social media as a basketball group that I'm a part of, and somebody showed a video of LeBron James. There's like all the groups I'm part of, all they talk about is who's better, LeBron James or Michael Jordan. LeBron James, it's getting so tiring. But
it's like worse than real estate groups.
It's crazy.
How do you get more leads? And then all these lead programs,
it's just
like
as bad. and everyone has their opinion, and because that's what all it is. You can't prove one or over the other. Although Michael Jordan's the GOAT, but
not that we have an opinion at all.
No, I don't have an opinion. That's a fact. So,
let us know below.
yeah. Who do you got? But no, they show the video of, a lot of the things that, people will knock LeBron for is they keep saying, because he's breaking all of these records, like what he's doing, how long he's been doing it for at such a high level is unorthodox. I mean, it's greatness at its finest for sure. Like if you can't see that, then you probably have a little too much bias, because it's crazy what he's able to accomplish at how old he is. I mean, the guy's hair is pretty much gray and he's still dunking on people and putting up crazy numbers. Anyways, he got it in this game that showed a video of, he got a triple double, and it was the craziest thing. He got the rebound. The Lakers were winning. And as soon as he got the rebound, he knew he got the triple-double, because he looked over at his coach and signaled, get me out of this game.
Oh.
And immediately, JJ Redick called timeout. They pulled him out of the game. He was done, because the Lakers were up. They were going to win the game.
Yeah.
So it was very clear they only had him in the game just to get that triple-double, and he got it, and they pulled him out. And in the comment section, one of the one of the people, like, there's a lot of people that are like, I just, he is in it for just the stats and this and that. And like, whether he's doing it for stats or not, whatever. I mean,
he still won the game. He did his job.
Well, and getting a triple double is a big deal. So he wanted to, if he wants to add triple doubles to his resume, whatever, that's what he wants to do. But it isn't like a good look to be like you're in the game just to accomplish a personal stat, right? So it's not a great look for him. But part of the people that are just fanatic LeBron fans, they're posting their opinions, and one of the opinions was, well, Russell Westbrook did that so many times whenever he got triple doubles. You don't see people giving him a hard time about it. Why is it just LeBron? And so I thought, I was like,
that's a good point.
Did Russell Westbrook do that a bunch of times? And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to look it up. Because I can't remember a game. It sounds plausible. It sounds, and someone's feelings are going to make them say that. Mm-hmm. And still, it could be true, but I commented back and I said, listen, I just did my research. And I said, listen, I can't find a single game, any footage of him wanting to be pulled out of the game as soon as he got a triple double, right? Yeah. There was times where he got pulled out of the game and they recognized him for major accomplishments. When he broke the single season record, they stopped the game, pulled him out to give a standing ovation. When he got the all-time record for most triple doubles of anyone in the history, when he just became the first person to get to 200, he just did that in Denver. They acknowledged him, right? So those are the only things I can find. Never can I find where he got it to get it and then said, "Get me out of the game."
I was like, "Hey, timeout."
Yes, I'm out. I'm done. Right.
I'm old.
So I said, "Give me your receipts, man. Show what if there's so many times where this has happened. I just want to know what games so I can go look for myself, so then I can believe your statement here." And no response, no nothing yet, but we'll see. It's early, and it could be true, but that's the
Come
thing.
back next week and we'll let you know.
That's a complete derailment of this episode, but it goes back to the point of, like, don't just believe what people are saying and what you hear. It's all distraction. It's all white noise. It's opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. It could be true, but do your, due diligence yourself. Formulate your own opinions on stuff.
Perception is strong in
Very
life.
strong in emotions, especially if you can get an emotional response from people.
Yeah.
And for some reason, that topic is very emotionally charged for people.
Is the next one about leads?
Yeah, we can talk about leads. I think that's a great one.
Because I think you were just talking about it. Because I heard one time I was at a national conference and this girl got up there and she spoke, and she's very good and she's very, very intelligent, not discrediting her. But one thing I disagreed with her on was she said, as soon as you start out, you need to go get on a very successful team that feeds you leads in order for you to be successful in real estate. And I was like, ooh, I strongly disagree with that. I mean, I can see how that may work for some people, but at the same time, that's not the only way that you can survive in real estate.
Yeah. We know that.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about the overall, like, traditional brokerage setup and how it works, like, you better find if you don't join a team, then you better find the right mentorship, or the right mentors, surround yourself with, other high producers, and you better listen and do what they tell you to do, because then it's going to be really hard if you try to do it on your own. So to her credit and that point, like, for some people, I think if you're brand new, it could make sense, but also you could get on the wrong team.
Oh gosh.
Because there are teams that start way too early. They do it just because they think that's how I'm going to make more money. They say that's how you make more sales and you leverage and all that. So I'm going to start my traditional team. Well, then people are joining your team, but what value are you providing them?
Yeah, because most people, like, they'll burn out quickly because they have to do a lot of work because they're immediately buyer's agents because that's the easiest. They can buy leads, and it's like, again, you got to build relationships, but then you're driving all over, you're spending money on gas, and buyer's agents work the hardest.
Yeah. And it takes most of your time.
And that's why so many people want you on their team because they know they're trying to buy back time for themselves. So they want people to work it, but then you're doing all that work and then you only get like half the pay.
Yeah. Well, and then if you're the team lead, you might end up doing a lot of the work, but now you're paying, now a lot of the commission you're paying someone else because you brought them into your team and you're trying to support and show them value. Whereas if it was too early, if you could do the same number of sales without starting a team, well, then you just gave up some of your commissions to have someone else do it. Now, granted, this is why there's so many, variations of this, because if other people doing some of that work allows you to go get more business, then great.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people, fail to go grow and get more business. They just handle what they have, and they buy back more time for them to go and do things that aren't real estate producing activities.
Yes.
It's like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, because if you're going to start down that path, then you are trying to buy back more time to go do more sales. Mm-hmm. And only a select few people that I've seen are able to do that successfully. But yeah, leads is a huge distraction, because sometimes that's all people think about.
Well, because you need to go somewhere. If you're going to get into real estate and you're new, you need to know how to do not all things in real estate. You don't need to know how to do commercial, but you need to know how to do buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
To survive for a long time in this industry.
For sure.
So in most of those teams, they don't allow you to work listings.
List the last.
Like, even
listings
if
are king.
I've heard not all teams, but there are teams out there. Like, even if it's your mom and you want to sell your mom's house, you don't get to sell mom's house.
Nope. Yep.
They
you're a buyer specialist.
Yeah, you're the buyer specialist, and that's all you do.
I'll pay your referral fee, but you got to send it to our listing specialist.
Right.
Yep.
And buyers are good to start out, because most of the time, I don't know if there's a statistic out there, tell me if you disagree, but I feel like most of the time it is, most people get buyers first as like their first client, because they're easier to get.
I think that is the case. Now, I don't know with the buyer broker agreement in effect across the country.
It's changed.
I don't know if it's going to shift some, because now you have to get an agreement, whether it's a listing or a buyer. I think a lot of people shied away from listings because you had to actually sell them on using you or like hiring you before you could get the business. And
potentially paying you.
Yeah, and you have to talk money, and you have to have those uncomfortable conversations. But now with buyers, you can't just, say, oh, you're looking for a house. Let's just go looking. And you're just with them.
Yes.
You can't do that anymore, that you have to sell your value. Mm-hmm. And so it might shift to be more balanced. I don't know. But if you're in a position where you can't take on your own listings, then you're going to have a very hard time growing your own business, because listings is where all of the leads are generated from. That's how even Zillow gets their leads, is off of listings, because people are going and looking at their website and they see a listing that's for sale and they inquire about it. And that's where Zillow gets that's where all of these places get their leads, is from listings. Mm-hmm. So if you can capture that, if you can figure out a way to capture leads off of not just your own listings, but off of the marketplace listings, then, more power to you. That's what these companies are selling us.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
They're just selling our own leads back to us. But I think that people look at leads the wrong way. And Brooke, you're the one who actually, brought this up the first time. Like, you got to define a lead. It goes back to definitions of what is a lead.
Yeah, it's like you still have to call them.
Yep.
You still have to provide value. You still have to sell yourself, and you got to get them to sign a contract.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to add that to it.
Yeah.
So it's all the same. So, like, if you're going to go somewhere and or start out in real estate, you need to figure out, okay, how can I work with buyers? How can I work with listings? And where is going to allow me to do both of those things? And then also conversion rates. Conversion rates are big, because you are still going to have to call people. So there's some form of, I call it warm calling, if instead of cold calling, because cold calling just sounds terrible to
Why
people.
not hot calling?
We can call it hot calling. We can call it super hot calling.
There you go.
Like hot leads. But the conversion rate. So, like, again, you got to make relationships with people. So leads, it's just people on Zillow. They're just clicking because they just want to go see a house or something randomly. And a lot of the times they probably just have a friend already that's a realtor that maybe doesn't want to work with them. I mean, probably not all the time, but I do know it happens quite a bit because I have people, I'm like, no, cancel that.
Yeah.
I will take you or else Zillow's going to blow your phone up.
Yeah.
But it's still, so it's like a 1 to 3% conversion rate, 7% if you're really good. But like if you're calling like FSBOs and expireds, which is how you get listings, and those are leads, they're more of a, if you have a good script, you have a much higher conversion rate.
I mean, I think with how we teach people to do FSBOs, I think if you are like the worst of the worst at it, if you are, as long as you're doing the script, doing the activities and the follow-up, and as long as you're asking for the business in all of your follow-up, then I think the worst case scenario is you're converting at a 10 to 15% rate. Worst case scenario.
That means you make 10 calls and you get
a listing.
Yes.
For every not every 10 calls, every 10 appointments set, I would say.
Yeah.
So, that would be, well, no, I mean, yeah, for every 10 contacts, I think 10 to 15% you can convert if you do that. If you do it right. I think for every 10 contacts that you make, doesn't have to be 10 appointments. It has to be 10 contacts. You can convert at a 10 to 15% rate. Worst case scenario. You want to know how? Hit us up and we'll teach you how. But one thing I do want to say with leads is quit, just like the comparison game, quit thinking that there's going to be some passive magic formula out there. If there was a magic formula to automatically generate ready to go leads and you don't have to lift a finger and they're ready to go, whoever figures that out, they're not selling that system.
Oh, hell no.
They're going to profit like crazy off of using that system, and they're going to bring people onto their team and leverage people that way and keep the sale in-house for themselves. Now, to expand and stuff, maybe, but it just doesn't exist. That's the point. It doesn't exist. There is no passive way to sell real estate. As far as like just people are just going to come to you without you lifting a finger and they're ready to look at houses. It might happen every once in a while, but you can't build a career off it.
And another thing, this is a business. You are a business owner. It's not a job.
Yeah.
So you got to think and figure stuff out. You can watch a bazillion videos, go to all the education, get all of the little letters behind your name because you can do that as a real estate agent, but it doesn't do much for you.
Yeah.
You got to go out there and just do it.
Yeah. And don't blame others. Don't blame other people. Don't blame the brokerage. Blame yourself. If things aren't going the way you want them to go, it's nobody's fault but your own. I mean, there are resources out there. There are things you can do. You got to be doing the activity. And if you aren't getting the support that you need, then you can make a change and go find that support.
Yeah. Or hire a coach.
Or something, right? You got to invest in yourself. So if you don't want to look at other brokerages, then but you're not getting the support, then you're going to have to invest in a coach somehow, some way. You're going to be, you're going to have to pay for it somehow, right? And I think people are looking for, what I've noticed with people is when we talk to them and do appointments with them, it's like, I really need support. I need coaching. I need someone to show me how to do this because I'm not selling enough. But I need you to pay me 100%, like as much of it as you possibly can. And so it's like,
so you want me to teach you for free?
Yeah. So you want to
hold all liability.
Yeah. You want us to do everything.
Here's the onboarding link.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
If we could do that, yeah, we would be able to recruit like crazy. But it's like quit doing that. Like, invest in your business. If that means you join a place that has the support, but you're giving up some of your split, then so be it. That's your investment into your growth, into your business. And some people get it, others don't, and they just can't. For it's like a FSBO who doesn't want to pay a commission. That for some reason, agents, they can't fathom giving up an extra 10 or 15% of their split, but now they're selling. Instead, they want to sell 1 or 2 houses, but keep it all, or nothing. In most cases, it's nothing, and they end up quitting. So it's like, figure out a way to the distraction of high split and all the support. Just quit it. You've got to make an investment in yourself and make that choice at some point.
Yes, I always don't figure out the money. Don't even calculate how much you're going to make off the sale. I mean, money is important. I'm not saying that, but at the same time, if you're new, you're trying to figure it out. If you're not where you want to be, then just that's what you got to focus on.
Find someone who is where you want to be and say, what can I do? What did you do? Will you help me? And if they're willing to help you, there's a cost to it.
And if you don't get the listing, if you don't get the buyer, somebody fires you, that's still an experience. That's just an experience that you invested in your time. It's part of our job. I don't care how good of a real estate agent you are. I don't care how good and direct you are. You can't sell everybody. Curtis, you always say you can't say the right thing to the wrong person.
Can't.
And you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So get that out of your head.
Yep. Just do the activity that let the chips fall where they may. Whatever the phrase is.
I was like, what?
You've never heard that before?
No, the chips fall?
Yeah,
where are they falling from?
Well, like you just like poker chips, like let them fall where they're going to be.
Okay.
Yeah, like just
I was thinking potato chips. I'm like, is it raining potato chips?
No. Or there's another one like that, like a domino. I don't know the domino one. Just like the dominoes will fall where I don't know. Just let them fall.
I don't know.
Let it rain.
I'm just gonna pick up the sticks where you lay them.
and I'll capitalize on those sticks.
Okay, deal.
Yeah. Anyways, I mean, there's a ton of other distractions and white noise, but I think the point is don't get distracted.
Well, perception's strong out there. I mean, things where people say like cold calling is not effective or don't use the same script as everybody else. Like we teach a lot of agents right here, and we teach them all the same script. And we have some people that are like, oh, it's not as effective. And it's like, no, that's not the case. And it's just a perception out there because there's still people out there making a lot of money on cold calling. If that's the case, then why do people still do it today?
Yeah.
It's like door knocking. Like, I think about all the like solar panel and the termite guy, the roofers that come door knocking on my house every single day.
Yeah, they're not doing it because for fun, just to not get business.
Yeah, it's like it's effective.
Yeah.
So people still
get
buy
business
stuff
that way.
Yeah. Same thing with mailers. You know how much junk mail I throw away in the trash?
Yeah. But just because you do it doesn't mean everybody does it. Majority of people will.
Works,
yeah,
right?
But it works to some extent based on you're going to attract the right person with however you do it. But my big thing is like, again, go find someone who's doing the things that you want to do and ask them, again, what are they doing? How did they do it? And try get them to mentor you. Figure out a way to, whether you have to pay them and what can you do? What can you do to get that person to help ask that question and then do it,
No, I love that because I actually know a couple agents that did just that, and now they're like thriving in real estate because they saw something they wanted. They just called the person directly and was like, "Hey, I want to be you. Can we have coffee?"
Yeah. Drop the ego. You don't know everything. Even if you have all the experience in the world, if you're coming into real estate sales for the first time, you're at the bottom. You don't know anything. And just drop the ego and learn from the people that have been here doing it and that are successful at it, and just listen and do it. Like I was my mentor when I first got into it full time, like I was thrilled whenever I got deals. I got deals because of my mentor. I knew it was because of me listening to him. And I was so happy for my split to be going to him and for me to be paying him for his services because the value that I got from it was just invaluable. You couldn't put a price on it because, there's no way I'd be where I was today if I didn't have help.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Well, you always need people. One of my very first bosses, my very first job that I ever, well, not very first, but very first official job, he taught me and he said, I'm going to put you and train you in every single position, every single department. And I want you to know and understand. You don't have to know everything in great detail, but I need you to know and understand what everybody does. And that helped me thrive in that career. And so whenever I got into this full time, that is exactly what I did, because I was terrified, because I did not know. I knew everything about my previous career. I knew it top backwards. I mean, I didn't know everything, but I knew a lot to make me dangerous. But in real estate, I was like, man, I know enough to make me dangerous. I know how to go get sales, but I need to understand real estate. How does everything work? How does the board work? How does other brokerages work? How does top producers work? How does part-time agents work? What does the broker do? What does a transaction coordinator? And I just went and met everybody and just talked to them and learned. And I'll tell you, that was probably the best thing I've ever done. For sure.
Yeah, I think just being open-minded to, learning and not just drop the ego. You don't know everything, and in fact, you never know everything.
No, I mean, focus on sales, yes, but at the same time, you need to understand what is real estate. Why are you going after these sales?
Yeah, and right. Just don't let any activity distract you from the money-making activities. Like
absolutely,
priority money-making, but go learn along the way.
Oh yeah. Did my calls then went to lunches, which was always good and bad.
Why was it bad?
Because realtors like to drink,
and
there you
go. Yeah.
It was like you drink 2 or 3 beers at lunch, and then you go to the lunch the next day, and then you drink 2 or 3 beers, and then you're like, man, this is a lot of pointless calories, and I don't even have a buzz, and it's like, why am I even doing this?
Well, because it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and you just develop the habit. Anyways, anything else you want to contribute to it?
No.
I know there's a ton of other distractions and things that people say that I think you should figure out before you just listen to what everybody's saying. We would like to end with a would you rather. Are you okay?
Yeah. I have 3.
3?
Pick 2?
Yeah, let's just pick 2. What's the first one? Hit us with the first one.
Okay.
We'll repeat it because you don't have a mic.
Would you rather live in a world without music or one without colors?
Okay, so the question is, would you rather live in a world without music or a world without color? Colors. Yeah.
I think I'd rather live without color.
That's what I was going to say, without colors. I think that music, there's just too much, I don't know, there's too many emotions and too many things with music, and here, like, I don't know, music is powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I like colors. Like, I love, like, seeing the outdoors. That would suck. Or not seeing, like, the blue Caribbean Ocean. Oh, that's really sad now that I'm talking about it out loud.
But if you don't know, like, you get used to it.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
But music, yeah, it can make you, if you're sad or you want to feel sad, you can go listen to sad music.
Yeah.
Which I don't ever suggest. That's stupid. But if you want to be like in a hyped up mood, or like you want to get pumped up before a game,
motivational stuff.
Some like good songs,
memories, there's like music that you hear, and that brings you back in time to whatever was going on. Yeah, it evokes a certain emotion. But I just watched with Jonah. I just watched what was that Marvel TV show, Vision, and what's her name, the Scarlet Witch? What's her name? WandaVision.
Yeah.
And the first couple episodes are in black and white.
Oh.
And Jonah was like, "Why is this in black and white?" But then he got hooked on it. We were watching like, is that? And then when it turned to color, it was kind of sad because we were enjoying the black and white so much. And so I was like, I'd get used to the black and white. I wouldn't hate it.
Well, also too, like music and stuff makes those comics and stuff like that, or just movies and stuff.
Yeah, because then
colors don't.
If you're watching an intense scene, you want the music to and it just hits you,
like Jaws.
Yeah,
and then it's like ah.
Yeah, I think without color.
I would still miss the blue ocean. I guess I wouldn't miss it if it was never there.
You would know. I mean, unless it's like saying that, like right now, what it looks like. You see color, all of a sudden it goes away.
Yeah.
I still would choose no color. Okay, next.
Okay, next one. Would you rather drink from the toilet or pee in a litter box?
I'd pee in a litter box.
I would. Okay, hold on. We gotta. The audience doesn't know the question. Would you rather drink from a toilet or, as Brooke answered already, pee in a litter box? 100%, I would rather pee in a litter box.
Well, especially if you're a boy. Yeah. I mean,
that's got to be easy for a girl too. Just
it's little.
Just squat.
Yeah.
I mean,
But what if you're in public?
Well,
You
I'd
better find a
rather.
good litter box, you know?
Yeah.
Are you saying you'd rather drink from a toilet, Lauren? Exactly. So it's
No, I don't
yeah.
even like to throw up in the toilet.
I mean, you do everything in the toilet. I mean, you know.
You say a toilet bowl is cleaner than a dog's mouth, but I don't know.
They say it's cleaner than a shopping cart, as we proved. Then
That's not true. I mean, no, I don't care how clean they say it is.
toilets just gross me out. I
That's-
think it's totally a mental thing. But I've seen
for
some
sure.
pretty working at the grocery store. Some people randomly just come and use and just ruin our restrooms for some weird reason.
Yeah, people.
I don't know. It's like, you know what? I have a very upset stomach. I'm gonna go grocery shopping.
Yeah.
And it's
Okay,
like,
let's do the
get
third
out.
one. I want to do the third one.
Would you
Third
rather
one.
have a pause or rewind button in your life?
Ooh. Now, okay. Okay. The question
repeat
is,
it.
would you rather have a pause or a rewind button in your life? With a pause, can you?
No
you can still,
questions.
you can still move around and do things, or like you just
I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's
just
like
you're
click.
pausing time.
It's like the movie Click.
Yeah. I think rewind.
Really? I would say pause.
I think rewind.
Because I'd be like, I need a nap.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, pause, because then I can just go relax, or like I could go on a month vacation, and then, you know, when I'm like, okay, I'll go back to work now. Then I can
Yeah.
go back and hit it hard, and then I'm like, nope, pause again.
I would rewind, because then it's like I could take a ton of risk and like spend a bunch of money trying something, and then if it works, great. If not, rewind. Let's try this route now.
So you need the,
just try a bunch of trial and error things. You know,
You need the time stone from Infinity
Avengers.
War.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but if you had that, you could pause, rewind.
You could
could
do all kinds of
all
stuff.
sorts of things.
Or-
I mean, pause would be really cool too. I mean, that's either one of those. That would be cool. I'd be cool
Or
with.
Adam Sandler's Click.
Yeah.
I don't even know how he got the remote.
He was at a Bed Bath and Beyond store. He went to the Beyond part. And
Oh.
do you remember now?
Stupid.
And he got the remote. But you know that movie. It was a great lesson about life. You know,
Oh, yes.
Like I don't like because of that. Like I don't know. As long as the remote didn't like program itself to where like whenever you fast forward certain things, or like it learned to. It was like AI. You know.
Yeah.
It's like if you fast forward, like he's like, just give me my promotion, and then fast forward, and then it took like 20 years of his life
I was
away.
like, that's the one thing I don't think I would I would not want that, because
Yeah.
I would feel like I would use it in certain moments,
Sure.
and then I'd regret it.
yeah.
I don't want time to
You
go
got
faster.
you want to go through the struggle and mentally have that, because it builds
and then
character
pause it and go to the
strength.
beach when it's bad.
Yeah, yeah. I need some time off. So,
Well,
thank
that's
you
all,
for
folks.
thank you for that. We don't have Casey here to do our outro, but like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for joining us. You guys are cool and awesome.
Wow.
Thanks for.
We definitely didn't talk this over. We wouldn't put you in charge. I'm just kidding.
I know. It's all good.
You're the
I'm just
intro
trying to
guy,
be
not the
funny.
outro
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. I haven't practiced this part, but you
I'm
know.
just the in between gal.
But I do know I can say thanks for joining. I'm your co-host, Curtis Haddock, alongside our co-host, Brooke Messi.